You're listening to Miscast Commentary.
Hey everybody, welcome to Miscast Commentary, a Coming Attractions episode. I am Joe Findlay.
I'm Todd Tebow, the Sailor Murray.
And right off the bat, very sorry that we haven't had an episode in a couple of weeks, but there has been some doings
transpiring.
That's the word I was thinking about. In my household, we had 3 members of it with COVID, so we've been isolated from each other. I've been running a family zone defense, trying to take care of everybody. So that has been our life.
They can only eat foods that could fit under the crack in the door.
And I really, like
toast, pizza.
I minimized the size
ice
of the crack
cream,
too.
Jello.
Yeah. It was really only Jello
Like
and a leaf blower just blowing.
Like how many times have you just knocked ice cream onto your shed carpeting and picked it up and eaten it? You know, who cares?
But that is a very niche question. Once you threw in shag carpeting.
Well, even just carpeting in general, because all the fuzzles, like it's going to collect all the shit.
Is our audience not skewing as young as I would like? Oh no. Oh no.
They're like, is that a carpet that people shag on? Right on, man. Yeah, guaranteed.
Even that is
right. They did.
It's like, is that an Austin Powers reference when you were 100?
Shag what? God. What's shag now?
I don't think anything.
Shag is it's my identity.
It's Bieber's hair. No, that's a little old too. I don't know. We'll never get it. But a lot to talk about. I want to say right now. What
about Shaggy?
Oh, Shaggy.
That's still old.
Yes. Yeah. It wasn't me. What wasn't you? I don't know. Because it's like over a week removed and stuff like that, I'm just skipping the slap altogether.
Oh, I totally agree. I was going to be like, should we talk about it's been done to death? Yeah. It was totally right of him. Anytime somebody makes fun of your rich, beautiful, bald wife, you should punch them.
Yeah.
End of story.
That's exactly it.
Fuck it.
Yeah. If you got my take was if you have the front row seat, like Jack Nicholson got away with some awful shit during his life because he's Jack Nicholson, because he had a front seat at the Oscars. That's why.
Nicholson's got in the mirror again.
He was allowed to be a small forward for the Lakers anytime he was there.
Seriously.
Yeah, and of course not seriously.
I was like, what? Because he always said I thought maybe they made him like an honorary. You know what I mean? Like he would never go out there, but I haven't been out in a while. I don't want sports.
Today was literally my first day outside.
Remember when Nicholson won the dunk contest?
Yes.
It was amazing. He was tchatched out of his mind.
He did a double between the legs over a car. It was and it was an old Cadillac that was really long.
Yeah, of course.
Landed the dunk with his offhand and then landed inside a woman.
Mm-hmm. He sure did.
That's
Tammy Faye Baker.
Yeah, he didn't get to choose the woman.
Exactly. As he was falling towards her vagina, he's like, oh, fuck, there she is.
Well, wouldn't have been my first choice, but...
That's right. When in Rome, baby.
That was probably the least capable version of that has ever been.
That was like this weekend seeing the world's worst stunner sold. At WrestleMania. Let's just go right into WrestleMania.
Let's hear it.
It was totally awesome. Night 1 was way better than night 2.
Yeah.
And, it's sad when, because WWE's having like star making problems.
Yes.
And there's a problem with your company. And I'm not saying the guys, because all of them could be, obviously they're at WrestleMania. Anyways, the best part of every night was like the celebrity guests.
Yeah, I heard
Logan Paul was absolutely terrific. Logan Paul was absolutely the number one. Everybody says Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee was awesome as well.
I heard about him.
But Pat McAfee essentially just redid what he did in an NXT match that he had.
Oh, okay.
Like he did a backflip off the top rope. Very impressive. But I was like, it's kind of the same thing. But Logan Paul was terrific. I think he has a contract now because at the end, The Miz turned on him. And he was backstage calling out The Miz. So I think that he's going to keep wrestling. And he should, because he was totally wicked.
I think, what killed me is because I heard he was good. So I was watching a lot of the clips and stuff. And he was doing a lot of Eddie Guerrero stuff.
Making fun of Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, which is some real good heel.
Oh, it was awesome.
I was on board for that. But also... like he was just really doing the moves well.
He was awesome.
And I was like, fuck, there's no person that, and I don't know much about Logan Paul. Like I wasn't a part of that version of the YouTube ecosystem
whatever,
when he was making his name and stuff like that. So I was like, I just knew he was like some jerky young dude.
Yeah,
and he's a guy who's trying
cash.
and he's a guy who's trying to be a grown up now and okay, great.
Unlike his brother.
Yeah, but even like he's not trying as hard as Logan, but he's also younger, so he's got a couple more years.
He's got a couple years to grow up. But yeah, he did. Yeah. He was awesome.
Yeah.
I got to give the devil his due, man. He did great. And Johnny Knoxville in the Jackass crew was amazing.
I heard about it.
It was so funny. Like Sami Zayn, the Canadian boy, did so friggin' good.
Yeah.
Like I said, night one was all... Night one had the best matches, like Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes comes back.
Oh, yes.
Cody Rhodes came back. They had an absolute banger of a match. It was so killer.
Good for that.
Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch was absolutely A+. Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey was like A.
Yeah.
So like the first night was just like, holy shit. And then it ended off with Kevin Owens, Canadian boy, rumbling Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, that wasn't.
They fought all over the arena.
Yeah, that wasn't like a match, though.
No, it was a match. Yeah.
Oh, it was?
Yeah,
Okay.
he fought. Like, it was awesome.
I just thought it was like a thing that was going to end in a big spiel.
No, with like a stunner and that.
Yeah,
So no. It actually had a match.
Great.
And Stone Cold was awesome.
That's what I said, because I saw some footage of him a little while ago, and I was like, Steve looks in shape.
He looked, yeah. And then in the case of the night two, you had Sami Zayn versus the Jackass crew, which was terrific.
Yeah.
And then you had Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory, and then McMahon fought.
Yeah.
And then Stone Cold came out again to, say, fuck you, McMahon, right? Yeah. And it was the greatest / worst stunner. You could even see Stone Cold just like smirking so bad because Vince is like all stumbling. He like tries to grab him, and then he's still stumbling, and then he kind of go for it, and then it was just like, oh my god,
I'm putting it here.
It was pretty much like, look at the crowd, being like, insert what you know should be here. Nobody cared. I know. We were like, okay, we're totally with it.
Did you see the video of Mick Foley watching it?
No.
It was just a photo of him, and he's laughing his face off. He's at home, and his son is videotaping him, and he's just like,
I'll have to watch it later.
And he could not stop himself from, like, he's crying. He's just like...
Well, the fact that Vince is at 70, man, he came up with a video the other day, bench press, or deadlift, whatever you call it, when you pick it up off the ground. Deadlifting 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
He's 70 years old.
Yeah.
And then he ate a kid.
Oh, yeah.
No one cared. He was an orphan. No one gave a shit.
It's all good. But can we give it up, though, for Sami Zayn? I don't know. Again, I do not know
amazing.
This generation.
Montreal boy.
But what I'm giving it up for him for specifically, though, is he's doing something that's hard to do. It was one thing for Logan Paul. Logan Paul is an athlete. He boxes. He does these other things, whatever. Now, when you have now... Johnny Knoxville, who's a 50-something broken human being because of like all the stuff he's done with no real training or anything like that. So to be able to put him over in a way that made that match exciting,
and it was because like, he did a couple moves, but it was mainly about them just kicking the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
So he did a lot of good bumps, like he went through tables and fell off things and smashed this, and then the Jackass crew got involved.
Yeah.
And but Pat McAfee is like so good, like on mic. It's so funny because like a party boy comes out, and Pat McAfee's like, oh, he's like, his cheeks are waving at us, they're flapping, like. So it was Party Boy came out, and Sami Zayn kept calling him Naked Boy, but Johnny Party Boy Wee Man came up from under the ring, beat the shit up, and body slammed Sami Zayn, and it was like the perfect body slam.
It was a beautiful body slam. The only thing that I had to say, which is
when you see him kind of lie down into his arms, right? Oh yeah,
I was totally. I'm like, I'm fine with it. It's
and it was even good because it wasn't took too long. It was just he kind of ran over and then kind of like slumped into his arms, and then he held up for a little bit and then gave him the whole boom. He like the biggest pops of the night were like Wee Man, Knoxville, like Austin and McMahon.
Yeah.
And like it was like all but we would never ever give us Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar again. This is the third time WrestleMania that they've been the main event. The same two guys.
Yeah, that's unnecessary.
Like so lame, and it's the 6th headlining WrestleMania for Roman Reigns, which is garbage.
Wow, that is a lot.
When they said it, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
That's 20% of all of the WrestleMania.
Yeah, and it's like because Vince McMahon
what is it? 33 now?
I don't know what it is. I can't do the math. Fuck math. What am I, a math guy? Yeah. There's like a store over there that I saw near like the burrito place over on like 4th Avenue. It's like called like Mathletics.
Oh, it's
like a store for math.
It's a tutoring place.
A tutoring place.
Yeah.
It was just like one guy looking like he was going to kill himself.
Yeah, well, because he's...
Poor bastard.
Oh, absolutely.
But anyways, the match was garbage as it was going to be.
Yeah.
Between Lesnar and Reigns. Reigns won, obviously, but because he was the world champion 6 times, or in the main event of WrestleMania, because McMahon would just shove him down our throats every single time.
Yeah.
Nobody gave a shit. Now they like him because he's bad and he's kicking ass.
Uh-huh.
And the problem that they've also done is their guys are like, who's going to beat Roman Reigns? He's beat everybody.
Yeah.
Now it's nobody's believable to beat him.
Yeah.
Maybe Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. Well, I heard that they were kind of trying to sell it like Cody Rhodes was.
Oh, maybe Cody. Yeah, Cody, he was awesome too. Oh, he had a big pop too.
Yeah, which
is funny because they were like booing him out of AEW for whatever reason. I don't know why.
I know. People are,
whatever it is. I don't know what it is.
Wrestling fans are. It's like they
welcome Cody back. He talked all the shit in the world too. And Vince was like, "Can you make me money? Get back here, I love you."
But it's like, even think about like Bret Hart back in the day. They just all of a sudden decided they hated him.
No, they all have reasons, I guess.
Yeah.
But the Montreal screw job and killing his brother, is kind of a big one.
No, but I'm talking like back when. Remember when they had the WrestleMania, which I think was WrestleMania 13, which was the
is that Austin
and him,
Bret,
and that's where Bret went
double turn.
It was when they did the double turn because everybody was just booing Bret all the time for no like. There was no great
only
reason.
because he was like, now everybody wanted the anti-hero. He was just your straight regular hero guy. It was like, this guy's bored.
Well, and people got like that with Cena.
But he didn't give a fuck.
There was a good behind the scenes thing with Cena. He was wearing a suit at WrestleMania, and Austin came up to him and gave him like a slap on the shoulder. He's like, "Man, I'm real proud of you," and all that stuff. And you could see John Cena, like in Big, turn into a little boy in a big suit, just like, and he's like, "Thank you so much, it means a lot." And he leaves, and he's like, and he looks at the camera, he's like, "I'm so glad you got that on camera." Steve Austin telling me he's proud of me just melted my heart. Because
damn right.
Well, and like you're in that scenario where it's like you don't have a lot of those guys around anymore. Like Triple H is there.
He's done now.
Yeah, I know he's retired.
Yeah, because his heart blew up or something.
Yeah, well, that's bound to happen when you get mysteriously muscular over a short period of time and stay that way for 25 years.
I've been watching you shoot this guy like 50 times here.
Oh, I left my TikTok up. Follow me on TikTok at miscastjoe. Because this one I just posted this one and it doesn't have enough views
dig
yet.
this. I just saw this on TMZ.
Okay.
Today. A rapper, I don't know what his name is. His name is like Goobunzi or something. I guess an up and coming rapper.
Sorry, I just blew it because that was actually playing in the audio. Sorry, go ahead.
An up and coming rapper died. And his family took his dead body, put it high up on the wall of the club, and partied with their dead relative stuck to the fucking wall.
Can you think of a better way to go?
I maybe the strip club? I don't know. I was like, oh my God.
Was it a significant club?
Mine is going to, I don't know. It was just like, they were like, this is what he would have wanted.
Okay.
And I was like, what the shit? I hope they don't make that decision. How creepy is that? That's like the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Every time that one tune comes out, he's like gonna haunt you.
There's a lot of there was a lot of that stuff where they did those like live casket things where they like prop a guy up on his motorcycle or some shit like that.
Yeah, I guess it was one of these kinds of things. I was like, oh my God.
I have problems with most ways of dealing with body. I don't think that I am still very anti-burial. I'm like, you're taking up land for just for boxes. Because
I read the whole thing to be kind of a long drawn out.
If you want to bury somebody, honestly, I think that the burial should be like in some kind of like biodegradable. Like,
yes, that's how I want to be done.
That you get laid in there because then you just get eaten up and you're not taking up the land.
That's exactly what I want.
But because otherwise you're literally
it's just like a big waste of space.
Yeah, you're just digging up.
And then you just move the headstones, and then your whole new whole project area is haunted.
No doubt.
You don't want to move the bodies. Where are you going to move them?
Exactly. It's never going to be a thing that's allowed. I am so pro funeral pyre, maybe because I love Star Wars so much.
Me too. Well, no, the same thing is I've been watching Vikings, and it shocks me. It's like the cost of death. is so strange. How can it cost so much money and you're dead?
I know.
It's like the biggest fucking scam going.
I know.
So you put me in a thing, in a log thing. But like, hey, let's say if that was the new thing,
Okay.
because there's no more space, there's no more whatever, they have to put your body like they did Buddy.
Yeah.
Your body has to be propped up something.
Yes.
Where do you want your body?
Ooh, this is a great question. It's probably the question I least expected out of today. I don't want it to be anywhere because, like a part of me would go, "Oh, Disney," but I don't want to freak out people. I want it to be.
Oh, that's exactly what I want.
Oh, I
want to be strapped to the roof of a daycare, and kids are freaking screaming.
I want to be one of the people in those haunted houses that you find out like decades later
was actually dead.
That's happened. That story has occurred so many times where they found some like thing. They thought it was they bought it from like a movie prop place. And it was like this, like,
but it wasn't a movie prop place. It was a psycho murderer who was selling off the. That's how we didn't get caught. He sold the dead bodies off as props for haunted houses.
It was legitimately though some like old, like bank robber or something like that who had gotten killed, and then he got caught somewhere, and then like I don't remember all the circumstances.
Did they never check the place?
I don't know. And it was like it was just one of those things. They bought it from a movie house. So they had like point of sale saying, "Hey, look at all the props we have in here." And then they look around and they're like, "Oh, yep, that lines
It's like
up."
me and you run like a haunted house.
Yeah.
And I come walking through and I see this that's gross. This weird dead guy who looks like a robber. Well, Joe was put that up there. I'll never mention it again. And then when you see it, you do the same thing and we never say anything.
And I might be misremembering this, but I think that it was discovered because like his hand fell off or something like that. Like it was that kind of like semi-mummified, like petrified kind of thing. So he was still like, it was like whatever, but his hand fell off and then they saw bone.
Yo,
and they're like, oh,
don't forget that's the new movie idea.
What?
The guy murders, but then sells the bodies as props for haunted houses and like you said, that kind of thing.
I'm not opposed to that whatsoever.
You think they ever ran across one in like Texas Pickers? Hey, what do we got in there? Holy fuck, it's my Uncle Ezekiel.
Yep.
Like they open the thing, it's like Hannibal, the one that Jodie Foster went into, and it's like eyeballs and heads and shit.
That would be so funny if that happened and then somebody's like, it's exactly like, oh my God, that's my uncle. And then people are outbidding him so he can't even recover his uncle's body. He's like, he went missing. He went missing 22 years ago. And blah, blah, blah. He's like,
you know what my pawn shop needs?
Yeah.
A dead body.
Okay. He's crying. The guy's crying while everybody's bidding him up. And he's like, and then so he keeps like having it. He's like $10,000 like 12. Fuck this guy. Like, you shouldn't have outbid me on that one that had the Nike shoebox in the middle that ended up being receipts, but I assumed was Nike shoes.
Exactly. It's your near ones. Classic.
Actually, it's very funny just because I have over on this side, there's a Mr. Beast video sitting there. There's a really old Mr. Beast video where they bought a big storage locker and they were going through it and it was nothing but expensive shoes and old like paraphernalia for a church, like old flyers and stuff like that. So it was like somebody had like a weird like shoe thing going on, but also worked for the church, it seems.
Went to church.
Yeah.
What? It's called the church.
Oh, the church.
Oh, that could have been any black dude. Shoes, an addiction to shoes, goes to church. Come on. Anybody.
Lordy. All right. Well, that's that. Want to talk about Moon Knight, but Todd has not had a chance to see it yet because he was away at sea.
Is it because he just moons everyone at night?
He does.
The moon's out tonight.
Well, and what I said about Moon Knight, and I'll say like when we were talking before we hit record, I'll say now is Oscar Isaac successfully does what Tom Hardy is always trying to do and failing royally. Like Venom is the perfect example of Tom Hardy and his Tom Hardy. He's going, hey, man, Tom Hardy, like, you know. And I think I nailed it. And
I think so too, actually.
But, Oscar Isaac is this like little lowly museum. He's like a museum like gift shop clerk.
I can't see where this is going.
Right? And he's sitting there and then he's got like this kind of Cockney British accent. He's in London and all that, but he's really funny and quirky and all these kind of stuff and whatever. And then only to find out that I'm not into episode 2 yet, but kind of what it lets on is he's never been Steven. That's his like like his brain is giving him like another identity, and he's this other person
Total
who
Recall.
also becomes Moon Knight. So
he's
it's
got multiple personalities?
well, sort of. I can't. It's a question I can't answer until I get a couple more episodes in. I feel. But like that's kind of where it's laid out. Was like, is any of
the
this
rest
real?
of it takes place on a psychiatrist's couch?
Well,
I don't know who I am.
Well, because the one thing he's always calling his mom, but never able to talk to her, and I'm like, oh, it's because his personality is invented that he's got a mom that he needs to call, but she's
so
not
the
there.
Moon Knight is probably in hiding.
But it was
he's in hiding. He's trying to pretend.
But it was such a cool pilot. Like I like when the Marvel things hit a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Why should they all be the damn same?
Well, but I mean, like, just in terms of it's just not another superhero thing. It's just it felt so like out of left field. And then when you get that like Moon Knight reveal, you're kind of like, oh shit, cool. Even though you knew it was going to come.
Whoa, Moon Knight!
But, whoa, I thought that this was Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, I was watching Lizzie McGuire over here. Yo, did they change Ms. Marvel? Because I thought she was stretchy. Now she seems like she's got the powers of Captain Marvel or something.
It's weird what they've done.
It's like her hands are magic or some shit.
Yeah, she's got these bracelet things that like give her whatever her power is, but it's like I think that it's more like a
whatever that power is. Yeah,
it's like a spectral kind of version of stretching, so she can go like this. I would actually make it more akin to Green Lantern. But like, because I saw a thing where she went out and an arm stretched, but it wasn't like her arm was there, but then like another arm kind of continued
out. Her astral plane projected arm.
Yeah.
Jesus, you don't find it hot in here? Holy
I find it very hot in here, but it was so loud outside when the window was open.
It's all good. Having the sweats for days.
So,
you crazy.
Yeah. So that was that, though. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. Ms. Marvel is kind of just around the corner. That's my only.
She-Hulk.
And then She-Hulk is in there, and we've got Multiverse of Madness is next month.
Oh, Sam Raimi. That preview is so good. Oh, I watched this big, like, it was on YouTube.
Yeah.
And there was all types of previews.
You used a remote control to go to YouTube. The only thing that's not required for YouTube is what you're miming.
Right there, bud.
Yeah.
Went right to it.
Yep.
Boom. And it was like 45 minutes of previews. And I just sat there and watched them all. And some of them were fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
We've talked
that movie looks so friggin' awesome.
We have talked about that movie multiple times in the most offshoot ways, because we were talking about Jamie Lee Curtis the one time, and we're like, she's in this movie where the only description is a woman helps a middle-aged woman with her taxes.
Right.
That was that movie.
Oh.
And we've had multiple people where they kept showing up in this movie, and I'm like, I don't know what this movie is, but everybody's in it.
It looks totally killer.
It does look amazing. And this is actually something, because everybody was talking about, theater's dead for anything but big budget movies and blah blah blah. And then there was a bunch of other people who were like, I resent that. And like,
I resent that. I haven't gone to the movies, but I resent that.
Well, it's like the guys who made the new Scream movie, and then there was another one that just came out too.
Like, did Scream do well?
Yeah. It's profitable. Like, it didn't make $1 billion.
But
that's the
it
point.
Wasn't a flop.
It doesn't have to.
Right. It wasn't a flop.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't cost $300 million to make.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it cost probably like $80 million.
The credits of Marvel movies cost like $30 million.
Yeah. And so and it was good. And I think that this is a really good period, because right now, like, it was like an all or the other. It's either all gigantic $1 billion movie or indies.
And then I saw a preview for Downton Abbey, A New Era. Boner time, brother.
The next generation.
Boner time.
Is Screech in that?
Fucking A is. So is David Arquette.
Screech is in all next generations.
They're all like, hey, I'm moving to England. Hey, guess what? We're all moving to England. They end up at Downton.
What a shock. I'm standing at the edge of tomorrow. That was the college years song.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
So Sam Raimi has said he'd be open to doing another Spider-Man with Toby.
That's fine. No.
Well, what is your overall opinion? Because it was very popular having those other guys back and stuff like that. Is there room to do another movie that combines all of them, or a movie that goes
separate one in his multiverse, right?
Yeah.
In his verse. Yeah. Well, I guess now that there's a multiverse.
Yeah.
Guess he was so popular. Any Spider-Man's gonna come out and do huge.
Yeah. But yeah, it was like, I'm fine with whatever they do. It's just like, just make movies. I was like, this is kind of my thing, is everybody's looking for public opinion so much before they do things. And again, this is where one of the big failures of the Snyderverse thing came in, is they but it was way too much of, and this sounds bad, but too much listening to the fans. It was too much of, okay, you guys want this? Okay, we'll give you this. And instead of like just making their own story.
What do you want? What do you want? Snakes on a Plane 3?
Yeah. And it was a big thing about the Star Wars movies and stuff like that too. Everyone was like, well, this didn't happen, so it sucks. Or this did happen, so it sucks.
I wanted this to happen, and if it doesn't happen, that's bullshit. This is shit. And I will review bomb them because I have nothing better to do with my time.
And it's 100% your right to not like the movie or the decisions they made. But
the reason is dumb.
Yeah.
They did the same thing at the Oscars. Like I've already, the main thing I use all the time is that 1/3 of the people that started Batman or the Justice League Snyder Cut did not. Only 1/3 finished it.
Yeah.
So that means that hopefully all the people that put in Save the Snyderverse, hopefully that 1/3 was all of them. I doubt it. I highly fucking doubt it.
I do too.
So even the people that fought for were like, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
But anyways, they did it again at the Oscars. I guess they had a vote in for like your favorite whatever movie. Yeah. Army of the Dead won.
Wow.
And then the favorite scene was something from a Snyder movie. It was like favorite scene, and I was like, you could be fucking kidding me. Army of the Dead is the dumbest fucking movie you will ever see in your life.
Also, can we make it really clear? Like, I don't want to join the snootiness of the Academy.
The Snooderverse?
Yes, the Snooderverse for sure. But the people have no place voting on Oscars.
Of course.
They have no place.
Yeah.
The Academy... The reason that the Oscars are special is the Academy is built up of people who actually do these jobs and then decide amongst themselves who was the best at it.
Right.
And it's like, like there are cinematographers who are all watching these movies and going, that guy did the best work of cinematography.
And they're like, yeah,
I know what I'm talking about. But when you've got just a bunch of fucking bros reeking of Axe body spray through their computer, like going, no, this has to be the winner. So we're all going to mash this button. I'm like, that's not
Army of the Dead, bud. Yeah. Best picture.
Good God.
And guess who won Best Actor? The CGI Zombie Queen. Fucking A.
Much more gracious than other Oscar winners.
Well, I also found too, it was really like, okay, don't fucking everybody rake me over the coals for this or anything. But it was so like, we haven't acknowledged you before. So it's like best director, the third black female ever, best cinematographer, like this Asian woman, best this girl. You know what I mean? I was like, oh my God, wow, you're really.
Yeah. And I'm glad that like.
Good for them.
Yeah. No, I'm
good for them. But I was like, it's funny to notice this now back before it was like.
It was, the problem was it became such an overcorrect that it became obvious.
Yes.
Where it was like, hey, Oscar so white. I agree.
Yes.
It was like those other people are there and they were doing good work, but they were getting ignored in favor of people who've been nominated a billion times.
Did you see
for
Dune?
random work. I did see Dune, yes.
Oh, how is it?
It was good. It was like, Dune is Dune. Like,
Spice.
Like, yeah,
Did they spice it up?
It's big, it's epic, it is what it is. But I was like, I never really cared about Dune.
Neither did I.
I felt like I should. Like, it was well done. It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
It's got tons of cool people in it. It's worthy. I'm actually interested in the sequel only because I didn't like the other movie didn't offer that to us. So I'm like, oh, I'll get something new out of it this time, But like everything else it just felt
Did they spice it up?
Of course they did. They said actually the Spice Girls came out and they're like, every boy and every girl, spice up your life.
The big musical.
And then like you see in the background, it's like
Bruno.
No, I was gonna say you see like Oscar Isaac and Momoa and all these people go, oh, sorry to do that.
Goddamn right. At least that song should have been in the credits.
Absolutely. Morbius, we're talking more.
Oh my God, it's fairly terrible.
So it was funny because I was reading an article and the headline said, and this was like look how it's beating the MCU movies. I'm like, okay, you've got my attention. So I opened up the article. And,
sure did.
And what it's winning for is the highest gap between the critic Rotten Tomato score and the audience Rotten Tomato score. The critic Rotten Tomato score is 17%. Meaning 17% of all reviews are favorable. The audience score was 66%. Still bad. But they were like, but that is this gigantic leap.
That's like a baseball stat.
Yeah. And it's like this thing. And I'm like, but do you know why no MCU movie has that? Because they're all highly rated by the critics.
Yeah, well, higher rated.
But so they can't. No, but I mean, like the lowest.
Yeah, but so that is such a stupid thing. Like the only thing they could find to say this was better than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, because you want somebody. It's
Jared Leto's been starting to stink it up recently. Let me tell ya.
Oh yeah.
Like House of Gucci apparently was trash. He was trashing it. This movie's trash. He's trashing it. His Joker was trash. His band's trash.
There's something about it's the best band ever. Don't at me. But the thing about guys who are that serious and that method and all that kind of thing is that's what happens. Is they think more about the role that they're going to be able to do all their fun tricks with instead of what's going to be a good movie. They're like, oh, I'm going to get to gain weight and do this and do that. And like
he drank blood.
Yeah.
Human blood.
Well, I'm sitting
for the role.
Yeah. I'm sitting and I'm just hearing these dumb little things like he used his crutches all the time. And
who cares?
Stuff. And I'm like, you maybe do that for a couple of weeks just to learn how to use them and like so you would look natural going around. But he's like, yeah, even to go to the bathroom, he was using it. I'm like,
who cares?
Who gives a shit?
Does it show on screen? No one cares.
I feel like Daniel Day-Lewis would be like, ease up.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, they will. Well, that was like, what's his name?
I don't know. I don't know his name.
In Sir Lawrence. Oh, God. I didn't say it with enough pomp, but I think I threw something out.
His ghost grabbed him by the spine.
He's like, you bastard. Sir Laurence Olivier said to Dustin Hoffman during Marathon Man. Yeah. He was like, apparently he was supposed to have been up for like 3 days or whatever. And then he comes in all fucked and haggard and Lars Olivier looks at him and he goes like, it's called acting, man.
Yeah.
That's why you're not supposed to be, staying up all night and fucking like, you're supposed to pretend you are. Yeah.
It's my favorite thing. My favorite quote about acting of all time was written by Ricky Gervais and performed by Ian McKellen in the show Extras, where he's sitting there and he's like, so what's the secret? Like, how do you do what you do? And he's like, well, let me tell you something. I read the pages of the script and I memorize the words. And then I pretend to be what I'm supposed to be, and I say what I'm supposed to say. and it's this really like, and it's
like super deep, right?
It's super deep.
How do I act so well? What I do is I pretend to be the person I'm portraying in the film or play.
Yeah.
You're confused.
No,
it's perfectly simple. Case in point. Lord of the Rings. Little Peter Jackson comes from New Zealand, says to me, Sir Ian, I want you to be Gandalf the wizard. And I say to him, you are aware that I am not really a wizard. And he said, yes, I am aware of that. What I want you to do is to use your acting skills to portray the wizard for the duration of the film. So I said, okay. And then I said to myself, how would I do that? And this is what I did. I imagined what it would be like to be a wizard, and then I pretended and acted in that way on the day. If we were to draw a graph of my process, of my method, something like this, Sir Ian, action, wizard, you shall not pass, cut! Sir Ian.
I've never seen Extras. I haven't seen a lot of the Ricky Gervais stuff, like Afterlife.
Well, because it's because they're blink and you miss it. British series.
Yes, exactly. There was like 6 episodes. Then have to stretch it out to 18 seasons, and
a movie.
Yeah,
But it was so good, and all of those moments. There's so many moments where it's him, and like there's one with him and Daniel Radcliffe. There's one with him and Patrick Stewart, and like all these other different people throughout time. David Bowie, I think he did one with. And all
David Bowie.
And everybody does such a goddamn marvelous job.
Was that on? I'm gonna get HBO Max.
Yeah. Well, here it's Crave. So
I got the Crave.
If you have Crave, HBO Max exists there.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's because you can't get HBO Max in Canada. So
so the person I know does have HBO, but I slapped them. I was like, what the fuck?
Don't you lie to me.
Yeah, now I feel, man, no, I don't feel bad.
No, that's fine. God, there's so much more to talk about
Oh
still.
my God.
We're here on the list.
Well, people better keep on rolling.
Strap in, bitches. So one thing, this is just my call out to people. Every day I go on Twitter and people are like, where's the Thor Love and Thunder trailer? Where's the Thor? You haven't given us the Thor Love and Thunder trailer. Here's my question to all of you. Is it going to change your mind?
Yes.
Are you going to watch the trailer and go, ooh, now I'm going to go see it? No, you were always going to go see it, or you were never going to go see it. There was nobody who's on the fence, and I'm like, I bet that trailer's going to be the thing to push me over the edge. No, you're just looking to see something, to spoil something for yourself.
Exactly.
Why?
No, just to bitch about it. That's all.
Oh,
I got
I'm sure-
nothing to bitch about.
I'm sure
all
that too.
done here.
Marvel, they're generally good. Like, there's some stuff, but for the most
Right.
part, like, you know, like Ms. Marvel, oh my God, a Brown is the hero. You can't have that.
A brown.
Well, I saw people going nuts, and I saw people going nuts, and then about that and about Turning Red, the Pixar movie.
Oh yeah, I don't know what's the problem. That movie kicked ass.
It was
that
really
movie
good.
was absolutely. I honestly think that was one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
It was.
I loved it.
It was so good. And then some guy was like, "Oh, it's just this period allegory." He's like, "I can't like relate to this character," and blah blah blah. I'm like,
No one's asking you to.
Yeah, here's the thing: you don't have to relate to a character to enjoy a movie. I don't relate to Iron Man.
I know that's like
Weird.
why do you have to relate? Yeah, exactly. Why do you have to relate to this? So what? So this character has to be a middle-aged white man.
Yeah.
That what then has her period? Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
But and that was the thing. And I was sitting there, I'm like, yeah. I was like, she's Asian, she's a girl, and she's Canadian. This guy has nothing to connect himself to.
What would these people be doing if they couldn't do this?
What do you mean?
Like
nonsense?
Yeah, like just go and troll around. I love the wrestling sites because there's always like the same three dudes.
Yeah.
And it's like you're talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, and then by the time it's at the end, they're screaming at each other over like Russia and Ukraine and like women's rights. And like it's just like, this is what the fuck just happened here.
Yeah. It's like
you have nothing better to fucking do. Maybe these people would read a book or like go out and breathe some air. Maybe meet a woman.
Yeah. It's not always worth it.
Well, unless they walk right in with like a pizza naked.
No, I like the undressing process. Stay clothed, ladies. You get undressed on your
That's
time.
for you. You're not an incel. I'm talking about these incel guys. They don't know. They're not going to take their clothes off because the girl does too much work.
Because who has the time?
Exactly.
But it's my hope. Like the positive side of me thinks that these are people who would all have been serial killers if they didn't have this outlet. So
well, great.
So I'm like, okay,
well,
go ahead. I know you yell at me every time, and you're right every time if I get caught in a Twitter thing. And once again, it was just some guy.
Oh, fuck. Oh, here we go. Oh, fuck me.
But this, and you're right. I'm not even going to like.
Sometimes it must be such a dumb comment. You're like, oh my God, I have to. Like your hand is like, you're like, no.
That's the thing.
Like...
And it's like it's literally like Venom and him having the conversation. You have to tell them they're assholes, and I'm like, no, you don't want to tell them. Yeah, and I even make that voice. But no, but like it was just simply like it was one of those things. It was about Rise of Skywalker. And it was like, you noticed that they just shoehorned in her lightsaber at the very end. Like, what was the point other than just sell merchandise? And then a bunch of people were just like, yeah, Star Wars has always been about selling merchandise. And it was like, they didn't make the first movie with intent to sell merchandise. I'm like, no. But
once they were like, we could sell merch.
Yeah, but I was like, George Lucas didn't get exclusive merchandising rights for no reason.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, Kenner ripped him off because they got made so much money off him. I'm like, no, he sold the right. He personally granted the rights to the merchandising to Kenner for an agreed upon price. And when it made more money because no toy had ever sold like that, he ended up getting the rights back after the contract had finished. I was like, it went exactly as contracts were. And I was like, but then furthermore, just if we're going to be nitpicky about this lightsaber, you have the main character of an entire trilogy who is a Jedi who has never had her own lightsaber. And
Is that Rey?
Yeah, and it was a more or less afterthought to finally give her one at the end. And I was like, so you have this, like, this person, like it or not, is going to be some people's favorite character. And she's been using Luke's, like, you can't even, like, some people want to go.
Hand-me-down lightsaber.
Yeah, and some people want to go and have, like, I was like, oh, I would like raise my favorite character. I want to have her lightsaber. Well, here you go. It's Luke's lightsaber. No, I want Rey's lightsaber. Yeah, Luke's is Rey's. That's what happened. And then you're like,
ooh, you got to double whammy sell it.
right? And then it's, so it was like, so that was one part.
Wait,
so
I like where the buddy's like, first he's like, fucking, they had no intention of, merchandising.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, well, yeah, Lucas owns the rights. And then the guy flips it to, oh, yeah, but he got ripped off and blah, 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 right? Like, tries to switch
that was, well, there were a couple people in the conversation, but yeah, it was.
You know what I'm saying? And then like, whatever, what about this?
Yeah.
Like that.
And then I also just made the point, too, I'm like, you got to think about something else that every Star Wars trilogy does, is they have these things that mirror each other. Because people are always getting, oh, they made another Death Star. Yeah, every single one of the trilogies starts with that kind of thing happening. It happened in the original trilogy, blowing up the Death Star, happened in Episode 1, blowing up that control station in space.
Right.
And it happened in The Force Awakens with Starkiller Base getting blown up. So that all happened. What happens in the third of each movie? A Skywalker gets a brand new lightsaber.
Yep.
Because Anakin loses his in the second one, so now you don't see him build it or receive it, but he has a new lightsaber in the third one. You can, in deleted scenes, so you don't see it in the theatrical cut, but in deleted scenes, you see Luke building his new lightsaber in Return of the Jedi, and finally Rey gets one. I was like, so basically their whole thing is she doesn't deserve.
Of course, she's
her
a
own
woman.
Shit.
Come
and
on.
it was like, and I don't even want to go that
she's
far.
She's a Palpatine.
Yeah, but then I go that far. I'm like, technically, not by blood, but by other way, by like kind of in-law or stepbrother kind of ways. She's still related to Skywalker.
Stepbrother, I'm trapped in the dryer.
Because, and we're going to talk about it when the time comes, May the 4th, another Star Wars movie. We may or may not be recording it immediately after this, which is why it was so on my mind. But
you were always on my mind.
You betcha. You were always on my mind.
Yours is just like 50% community, 50% Star Wars.
Uh-huh. And sometimes Pepsi's in there. But the... I
can't get over your it's just the rest. Forget it. Yeah. Sing to me, Willie.
To all the girls I've loved before.
Two other girls I tweeted on before.
Was one of my favorite. It was one of my favorite things. That was an old Johnny Carson thing, and I think it was based on an actual. It was based on an actual duet that William. Holy shit, that Willie Nelson and. Why can't I think of the guy's name?
William.
Yeah.
You're tight.
Yeah, we're like that.
Yeah.
What's the sultry singer? I can't remember his name. His son, also a singer.
Frank Sinatra?
No. That's true, but no.
Neil Diamond.
Latino.
Ricky Martin.
No. Why can't I think of his name?
Enrique Iglesias.
Yes, Julio. It was Julio Iglesias.
Julio Iglesias. Sorry, yes. Julio Iglesias.
No, yeah, but it was Julio Iglesias and Willie Nelson. Thank you, because I wouldn't have got there without you. But so they had some like famous duet or something like that. So then they did it where Johnny Carson was Willie Nelson, and he did an amazing Willie Nelson, and he did To All the Girls I've Loved. But it like, and then it's actually Julio Iglesias, and he's doing his like To All the Girls I've Loved before. And like I was like 10 years old the first time I saw it, and I'm like, oh.
that was when you got the tingle.
Yes.
That's called the Iglesias tingle.
For people who watch Big Mouth, that's when my hormone monster arrived.
Exactly. Anyway, just to say to all the kids out there, that was like a talk show. I know you watch them now and they just play games.
Yes.
And laugh and like sing silly songs.
Yeah.
This is when they actually spoke and made jokes.
Yes.
It was good time. It was a good time for TV.
Yeah. And it devolved so quickly. Like it was like Conan was
like,
Conan was the last to do a real show. Letterman did a real show.
Yeah.
And Carson
Leno did.
Oh, yeah. Give credit to Leno.
Craig Ferguson, all those guys.
Yeah, Craig Ferguson. Did Craig Ferguson really do a show, or was that like, that money laundering?
I loved it. I loved his show.
He was funny. He was just like, he had the curse of not just being the 12:30 guy, but having the 12:30 show, like everything just reached 12:30.
Oh, I like that I love the 12:30. That's when Conan was the best.
Oh yeah,
at 12:30. There's no rules at 12:30, man.
Yeah, it's almost like the motivational speech was, "Ladies and gentlemen, the eyes of the world are not on us.
Yep, they've gone to bed. Now this is for all the druggies, the stoners, everybody who's up at night."
Yes, everything we do will age well forever. Come with me, head writer Louis C.K., who won a Grammy.
Was he one of the head writers in Conan?
Yeah,
when it was in that time slot.
Season. Robert Smigel was the first head writer, and then I think I don't know if he got the head writer job, but he was offered the head writer job for sure after Robert Smigel left.
Wasn't it the three of them for the Dana Carvey show? It was like Louis C.K.,
Louis C.K., Robert Smigel,
Colbert,
and Stephen Colbert, and Steve Carell.
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like, holy
you look back
shit.
on that and your mind explodes sometimes. Like, you think about the old
where's that? I can't even
Daily
find that.
Show. No, it's nobody. Well, nobody's interested in buying 5 episodes of something.
Is that what it was? It was only 5 episodes?
Yeah, well, because it got canceled after the nipples thing with the
nipple.
It was when Bill Clinton took off his shirt and he had like 8 nipples. He's like, I want to feed all of America's children and the network was like, no. Like, I don't even think it made it.
And then he started like suckling animals too.
Yeah, it was bananas.
It was way too good for TV. That's why
that show had some really memorable things. It's the ones that don't last a long time.
Madani.
Madani
with his book Getting It On.
The German who says nice things. Mr. Holland's Opus is the feel good movie of the year. They were the ones who did the sketch where they would pay the money and then take
drive off,
and that was their prank.
That was the prank. It was like a reverse prank. Yeah, they're like, okay, we'll take like they order just something ridiculous, then pay for it, and then before the guy gives it to them, they drive off.
Yeah,
laughing.
But it was like the same thing with what was it? Ben Stiller's show. Like Ben Stiller's show wasn't a lot of episodes, and it has so much stuff that is like
they should have a what's his name show. The sock guy.
Had the sock?
Nope. And they had a sock dude. No, not Triumph. They had a sock dude in the Ben Stiller show. I can't remember who it was, but he was killed. What the fuck was his name?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. He should have his own movie starring Andy Dick. Is he still alive?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, that's great.
Fuck, I know exactly who you're talking about, though. He basically was at the sock.
Yes, pretty much, yes. Or Triumph.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name to save my life. It's going to kill me now.
Yeah.
This is what I got to see too. One of these ones should pick it up.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 episodes. There's so much content needed out there. Fucking somebody grab it.
Well, I could see somebody getting like at least Ben Stiller's show because there was like
a full
20,
season.
There was like 20 episodes or something.
Yeah, it was like a full. I would totally love it. I'll bet you That's Entertainment has it somewhere in the archive.
Yeah, but I honestly think like somebody like them thinking about the work that would need to go into putting these 5 episodes on, because it's not like you just drag and drop them into a folder and then it's on Netflix. It's like it would be like, oh, now we have to create like a page for these 5 episodes and have like post the trailer. It's like it's not worth it.
They can have people talk about it. Hey, I remember when I did this show.
That would be cool if they could start adding extras, because like iTunes was doing.
All the other episodes that we didn't air but were written that they'll redo.
How cool would it be though? Like if say a show that didn't have like all the commentaries and stuff like that when you had the DVD version or something like that. Say all of a sudden you're like, hey, we've got this show and we've added commentary. Like we got people to come and record commentaries now for it. So you'll hear like never before seen stuff. Ooh, that would be a great idea for a podcast.
Terminator 2, the new one, and it's us talking over it. They're like, no James Cameron, no Arnold.
Thank God.
No Linda Hamilton.
I had to kind of explain because somebody didn't really know what the word miscast meant. And they were like, why is it miscast comment? And I'm like, well, like you can listen to like a cast commentary or something like that.
Like we've been miscast.
And I'm like, we have nothing to do with the movie. So we are the wrong people to be doing a cast commentary. Therefore, we are the miscast.
Like Eric Stoltz in Back to the Future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Harvey Keitel in Apocalypse Now.
I think they would have nailed it. The only problem is he just got pants down right away, and they're like, "No, it's not that kind of movie." He's like, "Oh, this is my bread and butter." Which one is the butter? My balls are the butter.
That means he's stepping on Brando's toes because he's now pantsless.
Yes,
can't have 2 pantsless guys.
Yeah. Well, Brando was pantsless for another reason though, because he felt he didn't want full body shots.
He didn't want him because it's not even like he was going to be naked or anything.
Also, he just like pants just seemed like a lot of effort towards the end for him.
Yes. I wish we're down for a moo or a dashiki.
All right. got 3 more
Holy
topics
fuck.
to get through. 'Cause, first one, Ezra Miller, who has 2 like large movies that have already been shot and are one's coming out soon, just got arrested again for
Did he?
Allegedly breaking into a Hawaiian hotel room and threatening a couple while they were still waking them up and threatening. So lots of calls for him to potentially
He's
be
ending his career in a flash.
Exactly. So there's lots of calls for him to be replaced in both The Flash and Fantastic Beasts, which like Fantastic Beasts is coming out in like a
How are they supposed to replace him?
Well, you won't be able to for these ones, but like
Going
onward.
I don't like him as the Flash anyway.
I think he's
good.
I think he's an objectively terrible actor.
He's awful.
Think he's not good in Fantastic Beasts. He is not good in like, and say what
He's
you want about like, you
terrible
could
as
hate the
Flash.
Fantastic Beasts movies, but he is like objectively the worst
Bad.
part of it. Like there's like everybody else is just what it is, right? But the people are getting good
saw-
performances and doing whatever.
And now this preview for this movie is just like it's way too late to the multiverse party.
Yeah.
Way too late.
Yeah.
In the shot, there's like 3 different flashes of like we just saw this in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We literally, but they're ripping off. This is the real one that started was the Flash went so fast that he broke into the multiverse, and this is where they're stealing it from, which is kind of a sucky for them.
This was the comic space race. It was whoever was going to get to this first.
Yes.
The other one was going to be accused of ripping it off because not as many people know the comics as know the cinematic universes. So I knew that was going to happen
first.
Yeah, but by the time
Does
the
anyone
Flash,
care?
Because the Flash is coming. No, but the Flash is coming out in 2023 now, and by then we will already have had Spider-Man. We will have already had Multiverse of Madness.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Well, yeah, but that's not. I'm just talking about the 2 cinematic universes.
In the
and then like potentially a couple more things from Marvel that will at least pay some homage to the multiverse.
I'm hoping that after Doctor Strange we move away from the multiverse.
No, I think that the multiverse is going to be a big stepping point. Like I don't think it's going to be constantly be getting variants and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I think that like this is the big event. Like I would say like kind of like leading up to the Avengers. Like everything was like leading up to this moment happening.
Right.
And like so that is going to be like the first kind of phase of this new phase. You know what I mean?
I want to see them all teamed up together.
I think
I want the new Avengers.
Yeah,
I think bullshit.
You'll get something because, like Feige said, that there's not going to be another Avengers movie. But I think that what he's really saying is there's not going to.
It'll be like Civil War.
It's not going to be an Avengers movie the way you saw it.
Right.
What you'll see is like you'll see the X-Men, you'll see other like team ups and stuff like that. That's not going to be like it'll be Fantastic Four with some Avengers with some whatever.
Right.
And they're not going to call it the Avengers. They'll give it some
Avengers.
But like Secret Wars, because Secret Wars is going to be a show. So I think that's going to lead into another part of the storyline. Like I think like where multiverse is leading to one point, where multiverse is leading to kind of one point, the next wave is like Secret Wars, and I think that's kind of how
Secret Wars. Secret Wars was the Crawl or the Skrulls, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and that's when we're gonna find out that Captain America's alive because he was kidnapped and replaced with a Skrull way back.
Yeah. Poor Peggy Carter, if that's the case, because that meant a Skrull went back in time and seduced her. And well, didn't seduce her, but like romanced her, and then
she had a Skrull baby.
Oh,
she doesn't know till her deathbed when the baby kills her.
You always know, though.
You have an inkling. Something's wrong. In her darker moments, her more reflective moments, she's like, "Is my baby a Skrull? Am I a Skrull?"
I know I Googled it more than once.
Is my baby a Skrull? Who knows?
So shifting from the
wait, sorry. The advice they said was to kill them first and worry about that later, whether they are or are not a Skrull.
Yeah, we'll test the body for Skrull DNA. Fair enough. You can always make another one. It'll be fine. Correct. She's like, I almost died in childbirth. He's like, yeah, it probably won't happen twice though, right? Because that was 1940s medicine.
Exactly.
women just complain about the pain so that we can cook them dinner once. Get back in the kitchen, Dorothy. But yeah, so like moving from Ezra into more Fantastic Beast stuff too. I guess people are reviewing it right now. It's getting kind of mixed reviews, which they all have.
I'm not into them,
but they're not the same as the Harry Potter movies by any means. But I'm getting more excited for the things that are happening, like because it kind of started like it's like I don't really care about this, like looking around for beasts and all this kind of stuff. But now it's getting into the real Dumbledore shit. So I'm looking forward to this. But I guess a lot of real positive reviews for Mads Mikkelsen as Grindelwald. He is.
I can't wait till he starts getting into his homoerotic spells.
This is a thing
when
too,
he makes
because
Snape suck him off.
Oh my God, that's what he. That wasn't like making Snape a spy was not his punishment for the thing. He's like, you want to show you're really sorry? Zip.
He's got no. Oh, so he's just like,
yeah,
bonk
until his Patronus comes out.
And that's why he's Slytherin. That's why they made him the snake.
I get it, but there was a short scene that they confirm Dumbledore being gay in this one because he actually says aloud,
"I'm gay."
Yeah, no, but he says aloud that the reation that he couldn't like kill Grindelwald before and stuff, and the reason they made that little thing is because he was in love with him. So that's gonna have another twist, and there's some really cool moments. So there's kind of the Heat moment where they're both in a restaurant and they're talking to each other back and
like
forth.
A wizard restaurant.
No, just a regular old Muggle. Like they're in suits and the whole deal, right? I'm really looking forward to this one. I think that there's going to be a lot of good stuff to come out.
Exactly the opposite of that.
But it's just I think like this is the make or break movie. It's
really like the fourth movie.
No, it's the third. But
oh my God, this should make or break by the first one.
No, but this is like for what they decided they were going to do with it. Because at first, it's Fantastic Beasts, and they're like, it's going to be 5 movies. It's going to tell this whole arc. Okay, so this is the Hump movie where, well, maybe, but the
depends like on who you bring.
But the whole idea, if this doesn't sell you on what the next movies are going to go, like it's going to fall apart.
Oh my God, you know what? I've been here for 3. If by the time 5 hits, if I don't like that, you know what? I'm out.
No, but I'm talking in terms of production.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It was kind of like those stupid Katniss movies where it was like they were getting so good and then all of a sudden all momentum stopped and the entire movie was about her making this speech.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, this movie sucks bad.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened to the last one. I hope they killed her.
No.
And then the bad guy makes the symbol she makes and end credits roll.
They made a lot of really weird decisions. And I mean, that's the book. Like that was the big problem is that it was just stuff that was directly out of the book. Right. But and again, they made that mistake of splitting it into 2 movies. And I'm like, no, you could have cut out so much of the fat if you would have just made it 1 movie. I know why you're doing it, but that's not why.
Of course. Harry Potter did it right though.
Harry Potter, you had to with that book.
Oh, yeah.
That book was like,
that was good.
You could have afforded to do that with a couple other movies, but that one in particular. But yeah, but it's a whole thing is because basically they decided it was going to start with this thing. And I think, it's going to be a little spin-off, but they're like, no, we're going to take this and going to turn this into a whole new series. And then this is the one is like, if this one fails to do like, especially with all the other problems they've had with J.K. Rowling stuff going on with Ezra Miller, with Johnny Depp and all these different things. Like, I think
like a haunted cursed cast, yo.
Right. And it was like, if this one doesn't like inspire fans, like in a way,
Johnny Depp got kicked out of the movie because he got beat up by a girl.
Yeah. I would have too. Got beat up by somebody from the DCEU. Get the fuck out of here.
It's my girlfriend too.
I know.
She's crazy though.
She's mad crazy.
I like him crazy. You're not that crazy.
No. At the time, at the very least, when that was a revelation, I'm like, that seems like your type. It doesn't seem like the case anymore, but it was a few years ago.
Things change.
Yeah, people grow. Now that
I don't like to be hit by women anymore. I like to hit women now.
Yes.
See, I'm growing.
Exactly. But like submission
maturing.
Holds. Submission holds, never a strike.
Yeah. Well, just open hand. Just a zesty.
Yeah. Well, a sexy open hand slap. every time a slap happens, I even said I did it to my wife. We were talking when the slap happened, and we were talking about. I was like this, and I literally said, "I'm like this wouldn't have happened if Sean Connery was in the front row." And then I go, and I'm like, "Oh, maybe it would have." A sexually open-handed slap.
Wasn't that the Barbara Walters interview?
Yes, from the SNL thing. So the last thing we've got to talk about, Bruce Willis.
What happened?
He is officially retired from acting because he's suffering from aphasia. And
what is aphasia?
It's a like a mental deterioration, like
Alzheimer's or like a dementia or something like this.
Yes,
right?
It's very kind of dementia based.
Yeah.
So they were having a really hard time, especially on the last movie. They had to like cut out anything where it was more than a couple of lines. They had to cut out.
Really
down for him, and like it was hard apparently, and so it sucks because I mean we
like
grew up
stand there watching him go downhill, right? Like,
well, that sucks too, but we grew up loving Bruce because of Die Hard and because of like other things. Like he had so many fun ones back then. Like Last Man Standing was a good one.
Yeah, we kicked ass.
Or was it Last Stand?
Last Boy Scout.
That too. No, but I'm talking about
Last Man Standing, the gangster one.
Yeah.
Don't forget that sexy one with Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh, fuck off.
In the water.
Yeah.
What was that one called?
That wasn't Striking Distance.
Yes.
It was
Striking Distance. There you go.
And see, that's the thing is for every like one that was like really awesome to us, there were ones that were kind of like that at the same
movies,
time.
of course, come on.
But they're movies, but
Yeah,
I felt like he was a lot more hit and miss than say like an Arnold or a Sylvester, at least for that like chunk of time.
Right.
And then I guess the Razzies took a little bit of shit because after all of that was revealed, they continued with his nomination for Worst Actor for that movie.
Oh my God, I want to see it. Because now the movie's just made up of clips of his old movies. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter the line, too. Like, he's jumping over shit. And then it just fastly cuts.
Yeah. He's not going to look any more confused, any more or less confused than he would have anyway. Exactly. But I guess somebody asked the things like, why wouldn't you have removed him or whatever? And their response was my favorite because this was I'm not going to treat you any different because of what you've got going on thing. They were like, his reps should have done a better job at protecting his legacy.
Yeah, seriously.
And it was like
they shouldn't have let him go out for it.
Yeah, they should not have let him make these shitty movies and like.
Because he's had a couple like straight to DVD that I've seen on like Cosmic Sin.
Quite a few.
But he just wanders off scene and no one says a word.
What?
He's like the main. No.
I never heard of it, so I know that.
Good. See, you got me with your family was murdered by that killer, and I got you with that one.
No, mine was the small forward. Jack Nicholson.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like mine sounded more ridiculous, but but sometimes I come with the facts, man. I come with the facts.
You know, maybe you
did. I spent so little time lying to Todd that when I hit him, it stings.
Big time.
Yeah. But hey, guys, we made it. It was over an hour. We made it through all the news. But we got to talk about what movie we're doing next week, which is a movie that was supposed to come out a couple weeks ago. Again, we apologize for that. But we're dipping our toes, not into the MCU, but into Marvel again, with a movie that is about to be remade and coming out again.
Gotcha.
You were
Howard
doing
the Duck.
Yes. No, you were doing that thing again where you're like, that's not the movie we're about to do.
I got it, though. Yeah. Kind of.
We are visiting Wesley Snipes and Blade. Let's take a look at the trailer.
You better wake up. The world you live in is just a sugar-coated topping. There is another world beneath it. The real world.
For thousands of years, they have existed among us.
You keep your eyes open. They're everywhere. Chances are you've seen them yourself and didn't know it.
A secret nation.
Our livelihood depends on our ability to blend in.
With a lust for power.
We should be ruling the humans. These people are our food.
They've got their claws into everything. Politics, finance, real estate.
There's a war going on out there. He makes the weapons. I use them.
Now, one will lead them to conquer mankind.
Tonight, the age of man comes to an end.
We're gonna be gods.
And one will try to stop him dead.
There are worse things out tonight than vampires.
Like what?
Like me.
Have human,
Blade's mother was attacked by a vampire while she was pregnant.
half immortal.
You got the best of both worlds. All our strengths, none of our weaknesses.
He is their greatest fear and our only hope.
It's open season on all vampires.
Wesley Snipes, Stephen Dorff.
You're one of them, aren't you?
No, I'm something else. Blade.
All right, guys, Blade, that is what we're doing this week. We're not doing a whole another string of Marvels right now, but this is one that we just wanted to do because we felt like it might be relevant in the next.
Did like an hour,
Yeah.
and we didn't even talk about Will and Jada. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
I don't want to either.
No, I'm not.
Everybody knows it was wrong. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, for real. What
Yeah.
the fuck? I did actually get into an argument with somebody.
Yeah.
Who said that it was totally fine.
No.
And I was like, how is that fine?
No.
And they're like, well, he's already made fun of her like before. And I was like, so?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so it's okay. He's like, he was sticking up for his wife.
Yeah.
And I was like, so what?
Be a man.
And yeah, and I was like, what's the big? And it was like, it said that it's like a 50-50 split in the States as to people that agree with him and people who don't,
Because that
which
is
is
the United
hilarious.
States for
Exactly.
everything.
Every how do I think that the 50 that's okay with it? And surprisingly, the 50 that's okay with it is usually the place that would not like him at all for
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I'm just happy that a black man got slapped. Like that's
exactly. And it was like, yeah, but it was a female that was, and I found mostly online or the comments was Hollywood females that were sticking up for him, like Tiffany Haddish, Whoopi, like all these girls are like, you know what, I'm going bald too. I want to punch someone.
Well, my thing is two things. I know we said we were not going to talk about this.
There he goes.
I've got two very small things. One, he laughed at the joke.
First, big time.
You can't then get up and slap a person in the face.
Well, because he looked over at his master ruler.
Yeah. The one who basically cuckolded him on screen when he took him to that red table thing and disclosed something that they agreed to never disclose.
I watched it again.
Yeah.
And it was like unbelievable.
Yeah.
She literally is like, yeah, remember when I left you and I was with so-and-so?
Yeah, that
well, we
rapper.
sort of had like an entanglement. And Will Smith's like, could you tell me what your definition of entanglement is? She's like, I said entanglement. And then she goes on to be like, I had to find myself. And he's just sitting there, like, trying to hold tears back as she stomps all over him and he takes it.
In public.
Yes.
This was not a private conversation.
I was like,
you know
this is
what I mean?
unbelievable. And she goes on and on about how justified she is and uses all the big words she can to be like, oh, everything I did was totally fine and you're an idiot because you drove me there or whatever it was. It was just like the biggest, like, she's such a narcissist. Anyways, in the argument that I had with this person, they were like, it's okay because he was sticking up for his wife. And I was like, okay, everybody in this day and age is so butthurt over every little thing somebody says. Everybody would be slapped. It would be chaos. I was like, okay, so
Red cheeks everywhere.
it would just be unbelievable, right? Because it's like, oh, well, what happened? And then I'm like, okay, so, and they're like, well, no, but it was sticking. And I was like, how would you like it if somebody walked up to you and you said hello? That's offensive to them. They slap you.
Yeah. My thing was just this too. In what world do we live in where that is just acceptable, period, though? Like, would he have been within his rights to, at an after party or something, go approach him and go, hey, man, you were out of line?
No, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. And you can still have that, this was a joke or whatever. And it's like, no, but you can have that thing. You can say, look, that's my wife and you crossed the line. How fucking dare you? You can do that all you want. And guess what? If that argument happened in public, because it would have been everybody's fucking cell phones out.
Yeah.
Everybody would have been, okay, I get that.
Right.
And that would have been the end of that.
Exactly.
And
other people have come out.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx said that they were at Nelson Mandela's house and he did a Nelson Mandela impression and Will Smith fucking started choking him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Rodriguez was the co-star in Ali, and he said that he was awful to him. He was absolutely a monster, he said.
Yeah, I read
like
that.
Jekyll and Hyde.
I read that today.
Anyway, so what we get out of this is slapping people's wrong.
Yeah, just don't.
Oh, and in the argument that I had with the person too, they were like, what if they were, picking on me or whatever? I was like, I would say something to them.
Yes.
And they were like, what, you wouldn't hit them? I was like, this is how I phrased it. I was like, would you go to jail for me?
Yeah.
They were like, no. And I was like, well, I'm not either.
Yeah.
Well, what?
Yeah, we're done.
I'm going to go punch this person, and then I'm going to go to jail protecting your honor.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. And then while I'm in jail, you'll probably sleep with the guy
Yeah.
that fucking, whatever.
But and the bottom line too is just that he should not have been allowed to be there to accept his award.
Bottom line, okay, Jim Carrey was right.
Yeah.
They're all spineless.
Yeah.
They watch him assault the host.
Yeah.
Host takes it like a champ.
Yeah.
He's going to rip his head off in his next special. It's going to be amazing. Okay, so the host is great. They're all like 10 minutes later, they give the man a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Then the man who does the bullying gets consoled by Denzel and Tyler Perry in full Medea garb, and Bradley Cooper and whoever else comes out. Oh, you did a great job. Don't worry. The bottom line is that Will Smith is a cuck.
Yes.
He is run by this woman.
A literal cuck.
And then their whole relationship's fucked. They're both fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, end of story.
Yeah. And then there was a great, there was a TikTok of them, and they, before the Oscars, and like, we're dressing today and we choose chaos. So then everybody was like, oh, were you planning this the whole fucking time?
Wow.
But, anyways, that's all aside. Ricky Gervais had the best quote of the whole thing, because they asked him about what he would have done in the thing, because he said, that joke would have been the most tame joke in any of my turns as
exactly.
host. And he's like, but I never, ever would have made a joke about her hair. I would have made a joke about her boyfriend. And I think that's where we should leave you guys. Always, miscastcommentary.com. Email us podcast@miscastcommentary.com. Find us on Twitter just below. Look below for all the things. We love you guys so much. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit the like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when we do fun things. And yeah, that's
Tell
it.
the Island Boys they fucking suck.
Oh, yeah.
Did they answer?
No.
They're chicken shit. Chicken shit motherfuckers.
I figured of the single-digit people that watched that video that one of them would have been an island boy.
I know, right?
But who knows? But until next time, guys, Blade, we'll see you then.
Look at the arm.